Like if I were to cut every corner of the learning experience, I would do things the right way if I could start over.
Right.
I would make sure that my risk is set to where I don't screw myself. Even if I'm winning 100 trades in a row, like I'm not going to just I have a stop loss for a reason now, because I took that trial of like 3 times where I lost super big. And then I'm like, okay, what do I got to do to like keep myself out of that situation? That was me using proper risk management. What is up, everybody? We are on the Trader Society podcast. We have the co-host, the man,
Grant Hardy.
He's back. We're back. I'm back. What's up, everybody? Today, we wanted to do on the topic on like the trader's cycle of life, starting with what to do if you're just starting out in Forex. What do you think you should do?
Start learning everything, right? Learn from everyone. Find out what works from you. Yeah.
If I were to do it over again,
there's a lot of scammy things out there.
No, definitely.
So you never really know what you're getting. So I say just learn everything.
Interesting. I say one. There's obviously you can use YouTube for a lot of the basics of learning Forex, what it is. There's videos on price action. There's videos on technical analysis. And this is where I would roll with it. I would first start off finding somebody that's reputable to teach you the basics of price action and technical analysis. And it's out there, like I said, on YouTube, everywhere.
Right.
Just because I don't think, like, as you're learning, like, I don't think that you should flood your mind with, like, just so much. Because it's like learning a new language, you know?
Right.
And if you're trying to learn the whole stinking language all at once, you're just going to get confused.
Right.
You know?
Adverbs, pronouns,
yeah,
conjugates.
Yeah.
Is that a real thing?
I don't know.
I don't know.
You got 3 theirs.
Right.
You know?
Well, I agree with you, but I guess it also depends on what kind of learner you are. Can you learn by listening? Are you visual? Do you need, more hands-on? How do you learn? That's really the most important thing. So I feel like you need to at least know that about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause like I can't put on headphones like this and listen to someone talk about RSI or, what an indicator and how it works, right?
Yeah.
Like I need to sit down and visually see what's happening, especially with charts, right? But I think, I don't know. I personally, I think you should learn everything because you don't know anything.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that's how we all kind of went. You kind of start learning all this and then you start going down a path of something that you liked or maybe understood more.
Mm-hmm.
No,
I do understand that. For me, just out of my personal experience and what I've gathered in the last 8 years of trading, I have not taken, I've taken one course. And then everything else was either like, I learned a little piece from here, I learned a little piece from here, and just kind of brought it all together. But I also that's kind of all I know.
Mm-hmm.
And so my brain's not confused on okay, if I'm in a trade and there's a crossover on an MA, this is what I'm going to do. It's there's just so many different things out there that people teach you.
Maybe they do that in the beginning, but there's a point where I don't even think about that,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying.
But you've been in it long enough. You have to put yourself back to that point when you just started.
Right. It also depends on how bad you want to learn. And then also, too, not just learning, I think it's really important. Like, when I first started trading, I was fortunate enough, to start being around, Anthony,
mm-hmm.
right? And then I come here and I'm around you guys and, surrounding yourself with people that are actually doing it. That's the next, I would say, maybe the most important thing, really, with any industry, anything you're doing. Because if you're not surrounding yourself with, then you're just all in your own head, and it's good to communicate, talk, share ideas, experiences.
For sure. I like that. A community is super good, especially, you get people that are more advanced than you that can help you, give you tips. I do think that's extremely important. Um, but rolling back, if you learn, like you have to learn technical analysis just because it will help you out on finding at least confluences in the market.
Right.
And then, price action, what cycle of the market we're in.
Right.
And then, of course, you got to learn MT4, MT5, trading view. So it's like,
it's not easy.
No, it's a bunch of learning. And you're like, what's a trend line?
And it's confusing too. Like, I get it. Like, everything is not set up very efficiently, or ergonomically, I guess you could say. Like, you got to get choose a broker, and then, depending on how you're doing that, and then you got to go through KYC, and then you got to link your MetaTrader account, then you got to wait for funds to clear, then you got to transfer those funds, and then you got to do the whole process backwards if you're even profitable, to withdraw. Like, it's a very complicated process that honestly needs to be fixed. So, like, I see where, like, the struggle is, especially in the beginning.
And that's exactly why, like, I'm not trying to, like, market my stuff or anything, but that's exactly why I did my YouTube course. How I did it is, like, literally, this is what you should do if you should start.
Mm-hmm.
I think the next video is, like, learning MT4. Next video after that's learning trading view, like, learning the actual, like, language of trading.
Right.
That way you're, like, going in, like, okay, I guess I'm kind of understanding this.
Right.
Because one of the hardest things for me to learn was, putting an indicator on MetaTrader 4.
Right.
Which is not an easy task for a newbie.
Right. That's the thing. Like, you finally feel like you're ready to, I want to place my first trade. And then it's like a whole other process that you really have no idea that you didn't even know how to do. Like, it's a lot. I'm a little stressed out just thinking back. It takes months and a whole year before honestly you're ready
exactly
to start trading, I would say, live, or really understanding what you're doing.
Yeah, but the importance of that learning year, like where you have a year in, like you're gonna learn a lot in that year.
Yeah.
Especially if you're not even gonna like really focus down, like don't even start.
Yeah, for sure.
That's the way I look at it. You
It's
gotta
not
be
for you, it's
fully,
not for you.
you gotta be fully committed. Otherwise, you're
Right.
just not gonna do it.
Right.
Because it does take those 1, 2, like that's the thing. Like year 1 and 2 for me were all learning experiences. So when I did something that was a big mistake, losing money, I didn't really grasp like the concept of like, okay, learning from my failures in that aspect. I kind of just kept doing the same thing.
Right.
And then, you get to year 3 and 4 and you're like, okay, I'm learning a lot, I'm getting my system down. And mine wasn't like detailed because I kind of just did it by myself. So, year 3 and 4, you're learning a lot more. You start like recognizing your failures and improving from your failures. Year 5 and 6 is where I was like, okay, there was just like little things that were holding me back. I would take, a ton of wins in a row. Year 3 and 4, actually 2, 3 and 4, I would win a lot of my trades, but the thing that set me back was I'd take a massive loss every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
And then it'd set me back 2-3 months.
Yeah.
And
I've done that
Mhm.
plenty of times.
Yeah, and that's one of the big things that you really have to learn is how do I get past, like it's the Pareto principle, you have 80% of what you're doing right, which is great, but that extra 20% that you're doing wrong is exactly what's holding you back from actually being profitable.
Right. So what would you tell everyone listening right now where to start from, the first, let's just say 5 months? Like, what should be their process in learning and where to start?
First, obviously, learning the language of trading. That's what
The vocabulary.
The vocabulary, yes. That is where I would start. Learning what actually Forex is, all that. It's all out there too. Second, learning MetaTrader 4, MetaTrader 5, TradingView.
Mm-hmm.
Like learn how to use that system because you're gonna need to use it for however long you're trading.
Right.
Then get to the point, and like during all this, you should also be learning like, like I said, technical analysis, price action, candle patterns, all that fun stuff.
So don't even start with charts is what
No,
you're saying.
no. You got to see if you're even interested in it first before you're actually going to be on the charts. That's what I would say.
I get that approach, but I would kind of go the opposite, because you don't really know if you like it because all you're doing is looking at charts. So I would say look at charts.
Look at charts.
Look at charts and see if you even like looking at charts, because I hate going through MetaTrader and downloading all that, but I enjoyed charts, so that's why I would go back and do all of that.
It would just speed up the system, I feel like, because to look at the charts.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, yeah, but I think you're right. But
to look at like the whole system and actually know what you're doing, like you have to learn the vocabulary and you have to know how to actually use, turn on the car.
Right. I'm just saying, if I would have went that route though, I wouldn't have done it. Because I wouldn't want to sit and read and flip through what the vocabulary and then download this and see all the. I want to look at the charts, and then that's my main interest. You see what I'm saying?
No, definitely. I totally get that.
But I think you're right.
Yeah, I would say I was right, just for the pure fact of the trial and error of what I went through. First thing I did was look at charts, and I didn't know what the heck I was doing. You know? So that's why if you learn the basics and all that and whatnot, that I feel like you'll have a extra step of hey, do I even want to get myself involved in this, or should I just move past this and just call it quits?
Besides yourself, is there anyone you would recommend, maybe, because that's kind of where this conversation is focused around, is there anyone out there in the Forex world that you would recommend to where people could look to besides yourself?
Honestly, like I said, I've never taken another course. So, I mean, I know all these guys, they know what they're doing. I've never taken their course, so I can't really say, okay, go to Q or go to Raul or,
Right.
I can't say that because I don't know. I don't have that trial and error.
Right.
But there are people, you just look at who they are, be self-aware, give that discernment to where these people aren't frauds and scamming you,
right,
and they know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
That's just, you can start off with one guy and be a totally different trader than you would be if you started off with that guy.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So you never really know. I'm glad that I never switched systems. Honestly, I'm super glad. I don't know any better.
It works.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm super glad that I never switched systems.
It's cool. Well,
But at the same time, I don't do the same thing as everyone else, or a lot of the people. A lot of things are based off of technical analysis, trendline breaks, market's going to do this. There's a lot that is based off of that, where for me, it's just it's kind of a detailed system where it's I know if the market's doing this and my indicators are doing this, then I can enter that trade. So that's what I like about it,
Right.
I don't know if that's how other people's systems are. I feel like if I look at, all the people that I follow, it's they're never in the same type of trades, really.
Right. Buy a Lambo first and then learn to trade.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not a bad idea.
Yeah. Well,
okay, where would you go with the second step though? Or after, because you go through the experiences of, year 1, 2, where you're just learning, trial and error, figuring out yourself. And people can do it faster than year 1, 2. There's some people that just take it super serious and they get it down in 6 to 12 months.
Right. So what's your question?
So after you have it down, you have the trial and errors, where do you think it goes after that? And you're still a fairly new trader, right? 3 years?
Yeah. Almost 5 now.
5 years? Oh, okay.
Almost.
Dang, gosh.
So yeah, I would, once you get through the trial and error stuff, then you have to start going through the experience oh yeah, I've been doing really well, and oh no, I have a big loss that just set me back. And there's a whole other perseverance that you have to go through, that's a battle within yourself there, to where you doubt your strategy, or you doubt what you've learned, or you doubt if you even want to do this.
Now, do you think you can cut that phase off where you don't have to take that big loss? Because I personally do.
Right. But that's where you have to you have to get rid of that greed, because everyone gets greedy once they start being able to see what they see and make money. And
Exactly.
everyone so it becomes a battle of yourself after that.
Exactly. But let's say we're doing it the right way.
So we're just killing it. We just breeze through, trial and error. Now we're doing fine.
Not even that. We're just doing it the right way as far as like, okay, I'm not going to over leverage. I'm going to set a stop loss on every trade. I'm going to have a system, a detailed system where I know that where to enter, where to place my stop loss, where to place my my take profit.
Depending on how much you can fund with yourself and how much money you can trade with, and you have, that ability to, put a decent amount to where you can make a solid secondary or, primary income, I'd say buy some challenges first.
Yeah, for sure.
Trading
I like
challenges and try and get funded, and save some of that capital that you want to put into your own trading account and, use top tier, for example, right? Use the resources that are there for people that know how to trade, because then you can have this other capital on the side, and then you can actually put your skills to the test, through these challenges, because all these rules that are there for the challenges that you take actually will expose you and what you can do, I think. So I think that's a really good test and, a good way to look at yourself in the mirror. And if you get funded, you get that 80-20 split. Sometimes you get that 90-10. Just depends on what it is, right? So
exactly, and that's one of the things with the challenges. It really frustrates me with people is I don't understand how they put themselves in a position to actually lose the funded account.
Right.
Like after they already passed tier 1, tier 2.
Right.
They get funded. How do you ever put yourself in a situation where you can lose 5% a day? You shouldn't ever.
Right.
But that's the thing that, there's tons of people failing these.
Right.
But why are you risking that 5% at all? Like if you take a loss for 3% a day and then you're trying to do another trade.
It's the greed. They haven't gotten over that part. That's
exactly.
The part of the self
the greed
I'm talking
is
about.
Huge, man.
And then it's like, oh, well, I got a funded account. Now I can just get another one because I already did it once, and you get trapped in this mentality instead of like kind of prioritizing it or, seeing the value that you actually just obtain, because it's hard to pass a challenge.
Yeah, for sure. But if you can, then keep there's obviously reasons why people constantly pass the challenges.
Right.
And then they get to the point where they're actually funded and then they blow their account.
Mm-hmm.
If you just stuck to the system of, okay, I'm not ever going to put myself in a situation where I'm going to lose my account unless you just get unlucky and lose 5-6 trades in a row.
Right.
That I guess that can happen. But other than that, you really shouldn't put yourself in that situation where you can lose the account.
Right.
You shouldn't. You should know your risk already, and you should know the rules of the funding, and you shouldn't lose 10% of your account.
Right. It all comes down. It's a whole trial and error thing till you get that process and yourself and what you're doing down. And there's a lot of resources, there's a lot of things to learn, there's a lot of things to overcome for yourself. It just, at the end of the day, can you persevere through all of it and come out? It'll humble you, honestly, because especially you see all these people in the industry and they have, all these luxury cars and watches and things that people are so unattainable, and then all of a sudden, oh, I can do that, and the next thing you know, they're lost trying to get that, and that's where the greed comes in. That's why I say block out all that stuff. I would say that's another really important step to new traders, is block out all the Rolexes and the cars and block it out, because like I said in the podcast where I think you interviewed me, become the professional, and then all the other things will come with
exactly.
it. Those people have those things because they are the professionals.
Exactly.
Right.
And it takes patience, man. It's not going to be one of those things. I think people have the idea that they're going to come in and just make hundreds of thousands of dollars right off the bat. And that's just not realistic.
No.
Can someone do it? Yeah, they're going to get lucky doing it. But at the end of the day, if I were to cut every corner of the learning experience, I would do things the right way if I could start over.
Right.
I would make sure that my risk is set to where I don't screw myself. Even if I'm winning 100 trades in a row, I'm not going to just I have a stop loss for a reason now, because I took that trial of 3 times where I lost super big. And then I'm like, okay, what do I got to do to like keep myself out of that situation? That was me using proper risk management.
Right.
And now it's way more consistent. So I could have cut off all that drama and noise and the sad days of, hey, I took a $40,000 loss, and just use proper risk, and maybe not made as much money off the bat, but I guarantee you that I would have came out at the end making more money.
Right. But again, trial and error. So that was the process.
Exactly. That's my trial and error.
So there is really, as long as you have the right goal and the right self-reflection and being real with yourself, you're going to get to that point. So you have to go through that. I mean, I've had those days. It hurts. It sucks.
Yeah, but I don't think you have to go through those. I don't think any trader has to go through that.
I don't know, but every trader does.
Yeah, but if I were to redo it, I guarantee you I wouldn't.
But you can't.
I know, but that's why I'm trying to help these guys out.
I think you have to, guys.
I don't
have to go through
it.
You
don't. You don't have to use high leverage. You don't have to do all that stuff.
Wait till you're up $60,000, $70,000, right?
But you shouldn't be. You shouldn't be if you're using good risk.
How do you know?
Unless you have money on the side, like
that's my point.
If you have money on the side and like you want to blow your account, then go for it.
But you have to learn the greed side of it. It's like going into a casino. You have to look at it in a way as a casino. Like, oh, you could get lucky. Oh, you could be on a hot streak. And what happens? The dealer comes back and he takes everything you just made.
Yeah, but greed is the one thing that kills trader. That's why I'm trying to tell them.
And you have to overcome it, because everyone, once they get it, they go up big on something, or they fund a small account and they risk it all. I'm telling you, greed sets in. You have to overcome
exactly. It does, but it doesn't have to. You can, if you have the right discipline, and you don't have to do that.
No one has the right discipline when they first start trading.
That's why I'm trying to teach.
Do you know anyone that has?
No, but it's also a different era now. We weren't taught properly.
Well, if one of you can please be the first person with that discipline, I want to meet you, and we should have them on here, right? But I don't think that person will ever exist, or they're lying.
I do. I think that like I wasn't taught any of that stuff, right?
I'm gonna keep an open mind, but I don't.
No, I not like I learned, like I get, like, but I also think greed comes with like over trading, trying to like win after taking a loss, like right after, just entering trades like blindly. That all comes with like greed and the stuff that, you know, there's ways to actually get around it and problem solve to where, okay, if I take 2 losses in a row, take a step back, maybe take a day off, come back, look at the charts.
You got to look at the approach too of why people get into the industry in the first place.
Yeah,
there's a lot of flashy things and time, and people want those things and they get sold on it. So it's greed in the first place, I think, is why people want to get into Forex.
There are some that just want the freedom, right? Some people, for me, like when I started, I was like, I want $4,000 a month. I didn't even think about anything other than that. I was like, if I can make $4,000 a month trading and not have to go into my job and have time freedom, I'm good with that.
So I'm going to relate this back to when I interviewed you, because this is interesting. Because you say, you know, you just wanted the time, $4,000 a month. That's all you wanted to make.
Yep.
Now you say you want to make $50,000 to $100,000 a month.
That's a level up, baby.
Right? But you want to, you can live a good life and the life that you only want with 50 to 100 grand, but you want to make $1 million a month with a hedge fund and trade $100 million in capital and all this. Would you say that's a level up, or that's greed? Because why? Because everyone wants to get into the Forex world, right? Because either the money or the free time, but everyone wants to go the big, nice, crazy route. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but I'm just trying to kind of explain that, because everyone is greedy when they first start trading.
Yeah. They don't have to be, though.
But they
are.
Right?
I don't think I was. I just didn't know what the heck I was doing. I really don't think I was. I've never been like a greedy person.
I'm not trying to make you look bad, because I can rag on myself too. Because
you also have to realize you came into this industry making multiple 6 figures a year.
Right.
Most of these people are trying to just get out of their like job where they're making, I don't know how much, but usually it's not where they want to be. So you already had the money. You're one of the ones that, you know, kind of did it the right way, as far as like you should kind of have money when you're trading, at least at that point. Now we have all these funding where it's like, dang, I can get funded $300K. I can get funded $600K.
Right.
Like, holy cow, dude, that's an opportunity. You do 1% a week on $600K. I mean, that's 24 grand a year or a month.
Yeah.
Like, that's not that hard. Just like use the proper risk. Don't let yourself get to that point where, oh, I'm going to blow this. Like,
I just think it's a fine line between the level up and greed, which is the whole, that's what hurts most new traders in the beginning. I want to see someone with that discipline.
I'm not going to disagree with you because I agree.
Yeah.
Right? But if you could cut that off and be a perfect way to start trading, you make sure that the greed's out the door.
Yeah.
You know? And then that's just one of the big things.
Yeah.
Right? Never set yourself up to where you're going to lose more than you should be losing.
Yep.
That's another thing. That comes with risk management, not over trading, taking the proper setups for your strategy, and then just...
I would say take advantage of the resources with funding companies.
Definitely. I agree 100%. Like, if I would have started out and they had all these funding, I'd be all for it.
Yeah. I think that's a pretty good step-by-step or, approach to the market.
Well, yeah.
Two very different approaches, but... No one has the wrong way or the right way.
You don't got to be greedy.
Right. Don't have
like, I know you're saying, like, you think you need to get through the greed. I disagree, though. Like, you don't have to be greedy. I know it's human nature, but if you can get past that point of the greed, then you're set. Because some people just want $4 grand a month. I just wanted $4 grand a month,
Now you don't. Now you want $1 million.
Well, that's because my life is leveled up.
I'm not saying you're being greedy. Trust me.
And that's the whole point of that trading is like...
But I think I will say, oh, man, they're doing this. If this guy can do it, I know I can learn it. I'll 100% say, I guess, greed and the lifestyle kind of sold me.
But that's because they're not educated, right? They're not educated on what
learn.
Yes, they're not educated on what's really true. The true, like, proper professional way to trade.
Right.
That's what I'm trying to get at.
Right.
There's a professional way to trade, and then there's flipping accounts, not setting a stop loss. That's not professional.
Right.
If you want to do this forever, start off doing it professionally.
Right.
At least with that
Beat
mindset.
out one disciplined person that doesn't have to learn through the greed. But I think that's a good that's a good spot to end it on.
You want to end it? I'm just getting started, man.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what else to.
Okay.
What else?
Okay.
Where else would
we're
you go?
we're on year 3 and 4 when you're actually getting profitable. You're taking steps to learn about your failures in trading and why you're being held back.
Right.
Where you're not like super profitable.
Right.
You're profitable maybe, but you're not like really, really killing it. You got those year 3 and 4. You're learning. Year 5 and 6, when you really level up, you've seen the market enough to where you know your system. Like, and that's another thing. You should just know the system, man. Like, there should be a system, should be a definite stop loss, should be a definite entry point, should be a definite take profit. That is something that you should know in order to be an actual profitable trader. Like, you should have that system.
Yeah.
And then everything's going to, like, the learning experiences in the time is going to come with, it's going to cause growth. And that's just part of being a trader.
Right.
That's how I feel about it. But year 3 and 4, then 5 and 6 is when, you get really good. Or at least you should.
Mm-hmm.
If you're doing it right. You should be good at it by now. You should be profitable. You should be able to have a funded account and making money weekly on it.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I feel. And then, from there, it's just growth. You eventually just keep seeing the growth that happens. You're getting better every day. Don't try to switch it up. Just do what works for you.
It works for you. I think that's the whole purpose.
Yeah.
Learn, go through a route, follow a path, and do what works for you. It's all trial and error.
It is. It is.
It's all trial and error.
It is. But you don't have to set yourself up to that point.
Yeah. But that's why everyone preaches proper risk, proper, leverage, proper everything, right? Because everyone goes through those greedy mistakes, you have to learn. You have to go through it, have to learn the things. So that's what I'm saying. I don't know what else to say. Get MetaTrader, learn TradingView, get the charts, you know?
Yeah, I'm trying to cut the corner for these people so they don't have to go through that greed stage and that stage where it's like,
That's
dude,
up to them.
exactly. So I'm telling you what you should do, what you should do, what you should do.
Got 3 cameras? Oh, man.
In order to actually like do this quicker.
Yeah. There is a faster process. So that's what we have to say.
anyways. Okay. That's just where I'm at with it. What I would do if I were to restart and, speed up my process.
Right.
Cool.
Well, all right. Well, this concludes this episode of the Trader Society podcast. Hopefully you guys that are just starting out can kind of see a path or, see what we've went through and see how, we're very similar and we differ, on a lot of things. But we all want the same result. So not saying you're greedy, not saying anything, just trying to, make a point perspective. But don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and we'll see you guys next week on the next podcast.